um, Russell Simmons saying during the show documentary, Ricky is a silly MO. And when he said it, I was like, man, what the hell do you mean? He said, man, I own a Rolls Royce. What do I need a gun for? That's a deep line.
That's crazy. You're right, though. You're
If I
right,
own
though.
and the NBA provides that I have security, I don't know, man.
Well, welcome. Over the Top Podcast Sports Edition. This your boy Big Hank. I'm here with the fellas tonight, talking a little bit about sports. What's up, there, Big Bear Friends? How you doing, buddy?
Man, what's happening? What's going on with y'all?
Man, everything good. Kid, what's going on your way, man?
Wondering why people hate Jokic.
Good question. Good question. RJ, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Man, been a busy day, man. But
yeah.
productive.
I'm glad you made a little time for us tonight. I know you so at the show began, we were talking about a little bit of John Moran and his issues and about surrounding yourself around key people and not getting caught up in that different situations. I mean, we got caught in a couple of situations with gambling guns on them and them allegedly. But I guess my point is, at that level, and I was expressing earlier, that you can't at that level you can't afford to allegedly get caught up in anything. What do you think about that, B? Elaborate a little bit we were talking about earlier with John. What's your thoughts?
I mean, you can't afford to get allegedly caught up in anything. It's just the way you carry yourself. You know, years ago I read Charles Barkley book, and he got on. He was talking about Iverson and how Iverson got in trouble with his friends driving his car and had a gun or something. And his thing is, you want to be loyal to your friends, but when your tax bracket changes, tax, that's not their tax bracket no more. It's your tax bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you're looking to be loyal, I'm not saying you don't have to be loyal, but sometimes you gotta check it at the door. I dealt with KG for many years, and we understood, hey, we different now. Just walking with him, we different. We can't bring any kind of attention that's going to be negative, because if it's shining on us, it's bigger on him. And to go out and get the attention just thrown on you, yeah, he need a dose of reality, man.
So is it, you think it's more of a dose of reality, or do you think the younger players in the league don't take, the image as seriously? Or is it more that end, or is it just hard to get away from your environment?
I think it's like you say, he's a something boy. I don't get it twisted, man, about people from the country, because they'll bust you just like they do from the city, right? Yeah. However, the issue that I have with the concern I have is that, the church statement is new levels, new devils. So when you identify that you in a new tax bracket, like Bear said, you got to really assess who you're around, man. And the other thing that I really think is affecting him is the culture that is in. I'm not trying to downplay a city or be mean about a city or disrespect the city, but Memphis a little different, man. You gotta have your head on the swivel, and your mind got to be right when you're moving around that city. But the one thing about NBA players is they get security, and so it's important that he essentially make use of that resource.
Right. Let me ask you, what's some of the ways you think, when you look at the sport, I know you're in the college, what are the ways you think they can, the athlete can differentiate itself or kind of stay away from, now when you don't want them to isolation from their family or their friends, but I guess what are some of the ways to kind of stay on the straight and narrow as a young man? I know we got a lot of temptation out there, and you're in school, so you're not, I don't want to say it's the same thing pound for pound, but you are focused on one goal. So what are some of the ways that you can give young people that you focus on go do not get, or then doing something different than what your other friends are doing, do not get sidetracked? What are some of the things that you can share that you use, tools you use to stay from getting sidetracked?
I would love to give some insightful advice to John Morant because I'm older than him. However, John Morant makes millions of dollars. There is no advice I can give to somebody who is from Sumter, is now in Memphis, and makes more than I may ever see in my life. There's no amount of advice I can give to him that he would take seriously.
Well, what about the average person in your shoes? What I know it's a little off our sports, but what advice would you give them to kind of stay on the straight and narrow?
That's a simple. I've had friends who I just have to tell you, hey, don't be stupid. Some people take that advice, some people don't.
Okay. Well, I just want to get it out there, and I wish John kind of stayed. I know it don't affect his play. The boy can play, but we see you still have the off the court and on the court wit about yourself. Hey guys, the final push for the NBA playoffs. Barry, who you got? Who you looking at coming down the stretch? You have 20-something games left for this season. Who you looking at coming down the stretch?
Oh man, I think in the East it's gonna come down to Boston, Milwaukee. I kind of got Boston winning that out though. They seem to be more complete than Milwaukee. To be honest, I think the West is wide open, but it kind of saddens me because I feel like the Lakers made good moves and could make noise, but shoot, LeBron was down. Now Miss Anthony Davis has shown up, so I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't mean no harm, man. I'm an Anthony Davis fan, but I'm gonna call it what it is. You're not gonna make the Hall of Fame because you can't stay healthy. And I know people, he gonna argue that he's not in control of that, but I think he is. You gotta get him. He gotta toughen up, man. You gotta suck it up.
The talent pool with that young man, 7 foot, can play all four, maybe 5 positions, both ends of the floor. But
he cannot play the point guard. I will not let you keep telling people that he can play point guard. He cannot.
I
I think when he was younger, he was smaller. He did have the ball like back in the day.
Listen,
I know people who are small who can't play point guard.
But
I'm just saying he had a major growth spurt.
A point guard initiates the
offense,
does it not? And I've seen everybody shoot. Draymond Green
initiates
the offense.
Yeah.
He's close to a point guard than Anthony Davis is.
I don't think he's a better ball handler than Anthony Davis is.
Who he say?
Draymond Green.
Draymond.
He's not better skilled. He's not better skilled than Anthony Davis is, buddy.
Draymond is
hey, those rings tell me all I need to know.
Well,
I mean, but you know what though? He fits. He fits what they do. If you put him on another team, like say for instance, if you put him, okay, like if he's not surrounded with the shooters that he's surrounded with, then he's not as effective as he is. But I can't take nothing away from him. He's a smart player. He's very smart.
Also correct.
Very
There's
smart.
a few players that I believe dating all the way back to the 80s that are just system players. They were born into a system. They were lucky enough, however you want to say it, to gain a ring. And when they moved on past whatever team they were on, they were just, you never heard anything from them. Draymond Green is one of those players that's just blessed that the Golden State Warriors picked him. He bought into the system. He cannot, unless it was like LeBron or somebody like that, I don't see the success in him. He needs that dominant superstar.
Do you put him and Ben Simmons the same player?
Man,
I just refuse to talk about Ben Simmons.
I mean, defensive.
To respond to that, the Warriors have drafted a lot of players who did not fit their system. You have to be a special player. You still have to be a special player to fit
All
that
right,
system.
brother, go to you. Who you got coming down the stretch, man? We coming down low.
Okay.
Who you got coming out the east?
All right. Let me go.
We'll get back to the west. Who you got coming out the east?
Dang, I thought I had muted my mic. I apologize, guys. Um, you know, I think the Celtics. I truly think the Celtics, but I'm a little mad about what they did to Udoka, man. I still can't. I still haven't got over that. Like Nia Long said, Stephen A. said, it's an HR issue. It's an HR issue. You don't take a man and freeze him out, and then essentially put him in that type of situation like they did. But I'm not sure about that new coach. The Bullets ain't started flying in the playoffs yet. It's easy to do it in the regular season. When the playoffs start, it's gonna be a different animal. I think the Bucks gonna be tough to deal with though, man. They really, man, like when your guy Giannis is hitting like he is, and Middleton is scoring, they tough to deal with. Cause Drew is a monster. Like that's the hitting part of that series, because one, he plays good on ball defense. He plays really good on ball defense, and he makes key shots at points in times. He dribbles and penetrates. He does a good job of doing different things. And the one thing that they have this year, I think, is a little bit better. Portis is a heck of a ball player, but I also like Crawford, man. That spot up jump shot.
Yeah,
So when Giannis is penetrating Middleton, Portis, mid range, Crowder on the wing as a big, that's gonna be hard to stop.
Where you at you in the east?
It's like everyone says, it's between Milwaukee and Boston. I would love to throw Philadelphia in there, but they're currently down by 20, and I do not feel comfortable saying anything about them right now. Down by 22.
I am so disappointed in James Harden. If Philly had the James Harden from Houston, I think they'll be playing for to come out the East. I think he's still a decent player, but I think he lost his step. I don't know. What about Cleveland, man?
I think it's for me.
What was it?
What's wrong? Like you look frustrated. You don't think he lost his step?
If 21-6-10 lost a step, then
James needs, man. I think James needs, and the weight that he put on his body for all those years, I think that's what's affecting him more than anything else. Because he's a heck of a ball player. He just don't have that. He don't have that suddenness that he used to have no more.
That pop is gone. I think. What do you say, B?
I've just never been a fan, man. I've just never been a fan. And listen, guys, forgive me. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, when it comes down to this game of basketball, I'm kind of hard. But, like, I'm not cutting my TV on. James Harden, one of those players I'm not dying to see play.
At one time he was. At one time he was much watch TV. We was in Houston, lighting them things up from everything.
He looking at how he gets his points.
I like to point out.
He looking at how he gets his points.
I'm looking at how the points.
I like to point out
how he gets his points. I feel like he made travel legal. I mean, it's just
everybody
just traveling. I think he got a lot of those kick three point shots. Like, say for instance, if he's shooting, he kicked that leg out, he was getting that foul. A good portion, like when he was hitting them in the 50s, he was killing them with that, man. But then the NBA came back and they tightened up on it. And when they tightened up on it, that's when the scoring went down.
Again, if we are currently talking about a player who's averaging 21-10, and even in this game right now, he's got 24-12.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the bar was set. What do you think about Cleveland, man, with Mitchell? You don't think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna make a run, or you think they're gonna fell out in the playoffs? Too young.
Oh, I think they're gonna be in the mix. You're not just gonna just forget about them. I think that I'll put them. I would put them ahead of Miami. Yeah, shoot, I would put them ahead of Philly right now. Philly and Miami.
So
If I'm looking at the East, and I don't know the records, but I would actually go Boston, Milwaukee 1, 2, however you want to flip them, and then I'm looking at Cleveland.
so
They're
your top
exciting.
10, is the Bucks and that one, Celtics 2, the Sixers, the Cavaliers, Knicks, Nets, Heat, Hawks, Raptors, and the Wizards. Is the Wizards gonna make a playoff this year?
They'll probably make the playing game or the bottom of the. Man, I'm gonna tell you, honest to God,
They're
like
gonna make it play.
they have right now. If Kuzma play, if Bill play, if Porzingis play, and Bill don't pound the rock to death, they could beat some teams, man. They could beat some teams. Just cope. Man, Bill pounds the rock, man. God, he kills me. But he'll bucket though. He know how to score.
I think with Bradley Beal, I think he does say, you know what, if I'm with the championship, that's okay. I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah.
You gonna pay me, House. You gonna pay me.
Talking about Beal.
What's up?
You're talking about Beal. However, they do have Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, I mean, what's his stats right now? What Porzingis doing?
22-8 in a block.
He killing. Like if you look at the games that I watched, when he's healthy, he killing.
Was he with Dallas? Was he with Dallas for a while?
Yeah, he came over in that trade. Like they essentially stole him, and for Dinwiddie, they got rid of. We had a bad contract with Bertans. Davis Bertans is just a plain old shooter, just a spot up shooter. And so I think they had paid him like $15 to $20 million, and they wanted to try to get that contract off the books. So they traded Spencer Dinwiddie, Bertans, and got back Porzingis. And I think it was either future consideration or something like that. But they essentially stole Porzingis for whatever reason.
Well, he wasn't working out in Dallas. Him and Luka just wasn't getting it done.
Him and God, I can't think of what the brother's name is. The kid name, Luka. Yeah, Luka was struggling.
Yeah.
Luka,
They
like
weren't
Luka
working
trying
out
to
at
find
all
it.
in Dallas.
There's certain things where you can have two good players, but if it's a bad fit, it's not going to work.
But both of them were. But I think Luka that's the same thing with Kyrie. Both of them he's ball dominant. When you get those ball dominant guards, it's hard for big men to get loose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that.
So in the West,
Hold up. We're going to cut the lead to 10.
Who?
I'm keeping track of this game. Philadelphia done cut the lead to 10.
Hey man, they may make a run. So in the West, the top. So we got the Nuggets 1, Grizzlies 2, Kings, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Jazz, and Pelicans at 10. Man, what's going on with Zion, man?
You said the Warriors?
The Warriors.
The Warriors is at 10.
Yeah.
Warriors?
Yeah, the Warriors are. But you know, a lot of those. The top half of that league is really the bottom half of that league is really compacted. Like 6 to 13 is like maybe about a 3 to 4 game span. Like it's not a lot of people, if I'm not mistaken.
Who did you just ask?
4 to 12. The Suns at 4 have 34 wins. The Lakers at 11 have 30 wins. That's all packed together right there.
I'm talking about Zion, man. He can't give me a whole season. Is the weight? Is it? I mean, he can't give a whole season.
I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a mix of that, and it's also a mix of It's a mix of it's his weight, but it's not even that as much anymore. Now it's y'all putting way too much on him at one point. He's still he's a great player, but I'm older than him. So he's still very young.
He's a great player.
And when you put that much pressure on someone who was injury prone already
that
as is,
signed a $200 million contract.
he is 22.
Asked for all the weight that he can carry.
How much?
He asked for your weight my weight, run weight.
Nobody here was rejected to.
What was the?
Okay, but Peter, keep in. I think hold on. I think it's safe to say everybody in this video has bad knees, and nobody here will reject a $200 million contract.
But what I'm saying though,
jumped down Charles when Charles said he had to lose weight. Everybody didn't like Charles. Everybody was saying the dude was gonna have to get smaller. Charles made that point.
Well, that's because that was
I think the biggest thing though, I think people don't really realize about like players. The biggest thing that you see, like when you look at a Dominique Wilkins or Charles Barkley, Chris Webber, a lot of guys that use that bounce a lot, man, they fall off a cliff. Like when you use your legs real heavy and you do a lot of jumping and bounding, only person I've ever seen that was able to maintain that throughout their career is Vince Carter. But a lot of other players, everybody else fell off a cliff. Like even Jordan, great as he was, he knew how to score, but he couldn't jump no more. LeBron is an athletic freak. He's different. He's the only one that, like, besides Vince, that type of career, that's the only person I've ever seen had that same bounce the whole time.
He invested $1 million. He invested on the off season. I mean, when you invest $1 million a year on your body and keeping your body well, I mean, you look for longevity. I mean, that's.
But here's the real thing.
I'm looking at.
Go ahead, B.
You go back and you look at the younger Charles Barkley. Charles was jumping out the gym. Charles was getting rebounds over everybody. Then you fast forward to about year 9 when he could still jump, but he got below the rim. And he developed that whole below the rim game. And here's the thing, and everybody will not be honest about it. Zion does not have a game below the rim. If you take him and ground him, he's done. So he's looking at it like, man, my bread and butter is above the rim. But you're not going to maintain that for 15 years like Ron. You got to clip the ball off.
Well, I think he have a problem maintaining for a short time.
But you said he learned that after year 9. Zion is in year 3.
Yeah.
Well, he missed a whole year pretty much.
In year 3. Okay, but see,
Zion's in year 3, and he can, and an underrated game is Zion can shoot the ball. He just doesn't. Zion is a, by league standards, an average 3-point shooter. He just doesn't.
I don't think he shoot the ball as well as Charles and Pat them at this stage in his career. He don't shoot the ball as well as they did. Those guys had like real back.
You don't see him shoot the ball. I was just looking at it. Hold on a second. I was just looking at it.
I'm harder, but I'm just looking at.
But I think Zion carried a lot of weight. I mean, we know he was a big kid. And he carried a lot of weight on them knees, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think the thing that's a little different. I think the thing that's a little different for him right now, compared to where he was like two years ago coming into the NBA, he has made a concerted effort to try to control it. They do have a plan for him. The biggest thing is that if he can do it, you know what I'm saying? Like you can shape your body. Like, you know, one person I seen athletically reshape their body, and it was really amazing to see. People don't remember how big the running back for Pittsburgh was. Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was 250. He was 250, 260 in college. Got to the pros, understood what it was to be a pro, and he was able to maintain his weight. He did a great job. I think that comes with knowledge and wisdom, though, man. You know, like as you get more knowledge, you get more wisdom.
I found it. Wait.
But it ain't like Zion don't need the help. I mean, that Pelly team pretty stout. I mean, McCullum and your boy balling.
So that's what I was gonna bring up. The Pelicans are pretty stout. That's one. 2, Zion is shooting exactly the 3-point average. But Zion's also not the only person who's injured. Alvarado's injured. Larry Nance is injured, and Valanciunas is day-to-day. Zion
Yeah,
and
but Zion when they're gonna make a difference. You get a
what's his
healthy
name?
Zion,
Brandon Ingram just got back.
right? But a healthy Zion, Ingram,
Brandon
and
Ingram
Pelham you
just
need
got back.
for the playoff run. You gonna need
Y'all
them boys
reckon,
for the playoff
but
run. Is
but
Zion
y'all
gonna be
do
back?
recognize what. But here's the history to all of that.
What's his injury?
These guys are young guys, and they put so many miles on their legs already. So at this point, if you really look at it, and even Brandon Ingram, those guys are they like bats. When you look at their legs, you talking about a full summer of ball. You talking
Yeah.
about, you know what I'm saying? And even if they did one season at Duke, they still vets at this point. They play way more
That's what I
ball
was.
than when you take everywhere else. So that's why it's important for him now to get the game under the basket. But you even look at Brandon Ingram.
That's what I was explaining before. I was explaining before when I said Pelicans have Zion do a lot. Even when Brandon Ingram is healthy, they normally have Zion bringing up the floor. Zion basically plays point guard for that team.
All right, cool. Who you got coming out the West?
So they have him do a lot, along with not stopping his play style.
Cool. Who you got?
That adds wear and tear. What they really need to do is just teach him how to land, because he lands scary a lot.
You heard me?
If you teach how to control his body going up and coming down, that'd be much better, because all his injuries have been leg injuries.
Quinn, can you hear me? Who you got coming out the West?
The team with the MVP on it.
Okay, give me one.
The West is literally the Nuggets, and 5 games behind them is the Grizzlies.
It's not the Nuggets?
Is the Yes, I got the Nuggets.
Okay. Who you got?
Is a healthy Nugget, as of right now, knock on wood, a 100% healthy Nuggets team who is literally basically 100% Nuggets team who is by far the best team in the West, and it's only going to keep getting farther if the league does something to Ja.
Okay, Ron, who you got?
The Suns, they got Kevin Durant, but that's still a trial period. The Mavericks have to go on a run because they're still going to be in the play-in. The Warriors, Steph's not healthy yet. It's the Nuggets. It's the Nuggets conference lose.
Okay, Ron, who you got?
Man, honestly, I'm gonna surprise some people. If the Clippers had solid point guard play besides Russ, I would say the Clippers. I say they're the only team that has wings that can really compete with. I heard Stephen A. and Jay Williams talking about it, and I really thought about it. I said, yeah, they're the only 2 wings that I could see that could essentially lock up or cause those 2 guys to have a lot of problems. Kawhi on Durant, and then you come back and you put PG on Booker, and then Russ, if he played ball defense, it would be good. The big men down low cancel out because Aiden ain't going to get you but like maybe 10, 15, maybe 18 points. So you talking about Chris Paul prone to get hurt. God bless him. I love Chris too. I love him as a player. But I don't want to put that on him, man. But it's been really hard for him in the playoffs, with the wear and tear. So I'm going to say, man, to me, honestly, I'm going to say potentially the Clippers. I think Jokic is a hell of a player.
You know who the Clippers point guards are?
Russell Westbrook is one of them. That's what I said. If he wasn't turning the ball over,
Russell Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, Jason Preston, and Bones Highland.
But think about this. You have two guys that are wing players that can bring the ball up themselves and initiate offense. And so if you have those two guys that can initiate offense, it's not necessarily about your point guards doing the heavy lifting. It's a good situation when you talk about a Chris Paul because Chris Paul is going to get you in the right play. You know what I'm saying? But if you think about traditional, like, even when you think about, like, the motion offense that I don't know a lot about basketball offense, but I know that the Warriors run a motion offense. So those pick and pops and those movements that they do create a lot of that leverage. So it doesn't necessarily require Steph to bring the ball up all the time. He does, but it doesn't necessarily require that. Clay can do it. Claypool can do it. You know, Steph can be off the ball.
So you got
Those
the
point
Clippers.
guards that you're talking about don't necessarily have to dominate the ball.
So Ron, you got the Clippers.
I'm gonna say potentially the Clippers, and I do really like Jamal Murray. I like Jamal Murray. Bubble Jamal Murray is a top 5, top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
But the injuries he's had and what he's had to come back from, and even Michael Porter, like we don't even realize Michael Porter was like a highly touted player, but he had a real bad back injury. Man, that back injury messed him up, bro.
Right.
He's a baller.
I will say this: if anyone here watched how Michael Porter look up Michael Porter Jr. highlights, you would hate how he plays. Michael Porter Jr. is a black hole in that offense. The problem is he's a good one because if it goes to him, he is shooting it and he's making.
I think the one thing that's really kind of hard for people though, if you've ever really been good at something and you lose the ability to do that, it's hard for you to accept that change in your game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard for guys to accept that change in their game. And so what he's trying to consistently prove is, I'm still that guy. But you're on a talented team.
I honestly believe he is. That's I find it funny because it's effective.
And I think Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon on that team too, ain't he?
Mike Porter is the kid you do not
Aaron
want
Gordon on that team too, ain't he?
because he's only shoots.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon?
I think Aaron Gordon's on that team too. Yeah.
Yes, I think I just thought he was hurt.
So who you got coming out the West, B?
Yeah, and he's day to day right now.
I'm gonna flip it. I feel like this. Second best player, and most people argue that he's the best player in the league right now when he's healthy, and that's Durant. He's in Phoenix. And once he get his feet under him, I think he's gonna serve a problem. Now it depends on what type of Booker you get. If you get Booker that took them to the finals and played his heart out every game, then they're a problem in the West. They're a problem because even with Ayton just doing enough, if Booker can give his 25 to 30, Durant gonna give you 40. You know, and he ain't really trying to take the team, but he's gonna give you 40 because that's who he is. And you got to count Chris Paul in there, injury and all. He's gonna give you anything mid range. So I'm not scared to go with the Suns.
I'm not. I think you have to look at Chris Paul. See how can he stay healthy throughout. But I'm gonna be like Ric Flair. In order to be the man, you gotta beat the man. I'm still going to Oakland. I'm just going to San Francisco. I'm just going with them Golden State Warriors until you beat the man. And in order to be the man, you have to beat the man. And guys, it's only one guy runs the West, and he's over there in Golden State.
The one guy who runs the West is in street clubs.
Well, if he made it back by playoff time, buddy, you may have some problems on your hands. So I'm gonna go Golden State. They got to stay in position. They fifth. They're a veteran team. They know how to win. They know when the playoffs is gonna run. They about to go on a run. Poole playing out his mind. I mean, you got Wiggins, and Wiggins step up and do what he got to do on our defensive end. On the playoff run, Draymond gonna give you what Draymond gonna give you. Them boys still the king of the mountain now. They still the king of the mountain. I'm going with the Warriors. I'm going Warriors.
Jesus Christ!
Huh?
No, he looked.
I was looking at the. I was looking at the. I was just looking at the Warriors, and you said 32 and 30, fifth in the West. They can't win on the road.
No, they can't.
To save their life.
I mean, but they never been a great
25 and 7 at home, 7-23 on the road.
I'm going with Golden State. So we talk about Durant a little bit, and one of the questions I want to bring up on the podcast, what Charles Barkley said about Durant. Charles Barkley said what is his comment about Durant would never be a superstar by 17 he win a championship on his own. A la the Kobe Bryants when he with the Jordans, a la the LeBron when he left the trip the three and so on and so on. Is that a knock against Kevin Durant? What you think? I mean, who you want to go with? I'm going with you, B. I see the smile on your face. I know you and his story another game.
He'll never be a superstar until he win one on his own.
Well, he said it'd be an asterisk by him. And if I can you pull the right quote? I think when he was on first take as the asterisk by his name because he won the championship with Steph and didn't go win one, make his own super team.
Let me tell you.
I kind of see the asterisk because, Golden State. I never understood joining a team that beat me. I didn't understand that.
And they had them down 3-1.
That's my knowledge.
They had them down 3-1. Russ just lunched out.
Yeah, and I feel like had he come back the next year and beat Golden State, then join Golden State, nobody be saying anything. But it's like you folded your arms and you pouted and you was like, I'm going to get Golden State. So everybody kind of frowned upon those 2 years that you won your championship. You can't knock a champion. A champion is a champion at the end of the day. Just like everybody ride Charles. Charles couldn't beat Mike. I don't mean any harm. I don't know if anybody was beating Mike back then. They argue that Kenny Smith swear that the Rockets would have beat him. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think so. Because as much as I love Vernon Maxwell was not into Jordan like that. Jordan was gonna do his thing at the end of the day. He was just too mental. So to answer that, I don't think Charles is. I don't think he's wrong, but I think he might be a little hard because you can't knock the man's championship. He's a champion at the end of the day.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you something, boy. Prime McKean, Prime Ori, Prime Sam Cassell, Prime Kenny Smith.
You think it would have been a fight?
Floor spacing. Yeah, it would have been a game. It would have been a game. It wouldn't have been the steamroll that they did through the playoffs. The only team I could think that really gave is 2 teams that gave a game: the Suns and the Utah Jazz. Everybody else, they steamrolled. They walked the dog on them. And, you know what I'm saying? I think it would have been a heck of a game. I think it would have been a heck of a series to see that happen. I think it would have been really good. I think, man, like people don't even really realize this. Jordan was, man, y'all know that Wizards had them 2-2. The Bullets had them 2-2 with C. Webb, Rasheed Wallace, and goddamn Juwan Howard and Strickland at the point. Cats don't remember that. Cats don't remember that.
But see, the thing is, I think that's the formula to beat Chicago with a strong front line.
Yeah.
That was part of the formula to beat them.
And
with the Wizards or the Bullets at the time, they were not afraid of them.
Yeah.
But when he gets to the Knicks, they had challenged the Knicks so long, they had the Knicks' heart. That's just all it was.
Stockton couldn't do enough to stick Jordan and didn't score. His scoring would just go down in that series, and that really put him in a really bad situation. But you know what, though? It was kind of unfair for starting because he wasn't elite like that.
Right, I say. I mean, he was a good player, but he wasn't top tier to play with Jordan the whole series.
No.
Now, that's what you say, Q.
So I will say, because I did find what Barkley actually said.
Was I close or was I?
So basically what it said was KD needs to win a championship as the clear best player and leader of the team for validation.
Didn't he win MVP when he was at Golden State? I mean, he was the leader. Well, I mean,
No, I think Curry won both those MVPs.
No, he won one.
No. I think he got one.
Not when he was at
he won one. He won one. Check it out. Look it up.
Got one MVP award.
Well,
I think he won both the finals MVPs. Yeah.
You talking about like MVP, like you talking about MVP in the league or finals MVP?
Of the league. Yeah, of the league.
No, he won the finals.
I think Curry won both.
I think you talking about finals MVP.
Yeah, no, he didn't win.
Oh yeah. Kevin won both of them. Kevin, and I see Kevin Durant's response. He said at this point, they're saying go play with Scoot Henderson and win a championship, and then we'll give you credit.
Well, I don't know.
Which at this point, that is what they're at. At this point, there is what they're asking him to do. A lot of people say they would have gave an asterisk if he won in Brooklyn with Kyrie. They definitely would have gave him an asterisk if he won with Kyrie and Harden. And if he wins with the Suns and he wins MVP, they're still going to say, "Well, you had Devin Booker and Chris Paul." Yeah, this way they're not going to give him.
That's the thing that scares me about them. They don't have no bench.
Yeah. But Quinn brought up a good point. If Phoenix win the chip, is that Kevin Durant's team or is that Chris Paul's team? Is that
the thing I'm gonna say is you got traded.
Right, it's like you built it up.
When your team got traded.
Okay, but here's the question: do that team go to the finals without him being traded? Then, so if his arrival,
they did.
They missed the window though.
They did.
They missed the window. Like the talent that they had on.
They missed it, but they win.
No. I'm saying they missed the opportunity. I don't think the team currently constituted as the beginning of the year would have been in the finals in any way, shape, form, or fashion because it would have required a lot more of Chris Paul.
In my mind, Kevin Durant is a superstar. He's probably one of the best players in the league. But I mean, as far as what he brings to the table and how efficient he is, I think he won
right now to say he's number one, and then you got people who still want still making him two behind LeBron. I mean, you can't deny the man has done what phenomenal.
Right,
7 footer. He handled like we all know.
Yeah, for him to be able to pound that rock, bro. I mean, but you know what though? Like they say, man, where he come from, there's some tough runs up there. So thinking about aspects of the game and how it go, I can see how he come out of it that way. You know what I'm saying? As a basketball player, he's still, it's still some things that people had concerns about. Me, I don't. I think he's a hell of a ball player though.
All right, guys, we're gonna have one more question. This is what Q brought up, and it kind of makes sense. And I'm gonna word it this way: are we so consumed with being the best or comparing others to the greats that we don't appreciate the big achievements when it happens in the moment? And it took me a minute to kind of understand what he was asking me, but then it made sense. It's like when LeBron won the scoring title before instead of giving him the 5 to 30 minutes to kind of say, "Hey, congratulations." Well, he's not better than such, and he didn't do this such. Oh, we so wrapped up in the finish. Dame Dollar dropped. He dropped 71. Whatever, that's a good run, but it don't compare to what Kobe did. Or don't compare to what. Are we caught up in the end result that we don't appreciate the small milestones? I'm just curious what the panel think. What do you think, B?
In all honesty, like I respect, LeBron broke the scoring record and all. I respect it, but it wasn't like a big to do. I don't know why. It just wasn't a big to do for me. It wasn't about he didn't score the way Kareem did. It wasn't even about the comparison to Jordan or Karl Malone. It was just like you've been in the league 20 years. You got to break something, bro. I mean, for real. And I'm a LeBron fan, so don't get me wrong. But you got to break something. That's the way I look at it. It's just hard for me to get up now because I just feel like I feel like the history of what this game, how the game got to this point, I feel like it's totally, in a lot of senses of the word, it's somewhat disrespected by the players now, to be honest.
What do you think, RJ?
To be honest.
I can see what you're saying with the load management thing. I can understand that. I'm going to say this. Anybody that can score the amount of points that he scored and not want to be the primary scorer on his team and be off the ball, it's a hell of an accomplishment, man.
Oh, yeah.
And if you really think about it, because of his size and because of his elite athletic ability, he could have dominated the ball and the player in front of him every night. At 20 years in, he's still one of the top 5 players on the floor. I mean, with top 1 or 2 players on the floor every time he's on the floor. So when you say he played 20 years, he went straight from high school to the pros. I can't knock him. I got to give him credit. And from the beginning, he had more pressure than anybody I've ever seen. So you got to acknowledge the fact of that, man, that is greatness. And when I say more pressure, I mean, we never, to me, that he, and everybody, I love Cole. But Cole got in that game and shot that goddamn air ball. That was tough to me for Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But do you remember a moment? The only moment I remember I was disappointed in LeBron was when they played when they came together and they were the Heat that first year, and then he went back to the lab. He lost the weight, and when he cut that weight and he got his body leaner, what happened? Yeah, they came back and they won the next year.
He took off from there.
The issue more than anything else has been that on the teams that he's played on, with the exception of the Heat, he's had daggone their inferior talent. Think about him. He went with Kyrie. Kevin Love is not a true big three because Kevin Love is not the Kevin Love that was in Minnesota.
That made him change his game. Kevin Love was a rebound specialist. He went to Cleveland. Right. He became a 3-point specialist. That made him change his whole game.
Then you think about the other person, the other scoring, it comes from a J.R. Smith. Or, you get Shumpert to play. Right. You see what I'm saying? Then you get Shumpert on the team who plays defense. Then you start thinking about who else was on that team. It was James Jones. So you got to think about it. They beat Steph.
He said James Jones.
James Jones. Yeah, they talk about though.
Yeah, they beat Steph and them at full strength, man. Well, if Draymond don't do something,
Draymond got hurt too. Let's see that thing.
Draymond punched somebody in the nuts.
Draymond did not get. Draymond got ejected. Draymond got ejected and suspended.
Well, yeah.
But the fact that they were able to do that, to me, that's big time. And one of the corresponding plays in that game, I think LeBron got picked or something happened, and he came down the court. He ran the ball down, pinned that joint off the backboard. They take it back up, go down, and they score. Big momentum swing. So, bro, people got to acknowledge his greatness. I'm going to be honest with you. I would be probably... I hate Jordan. If people had to say I do not like Jordan. I ain't like Jordan since he shot that shot against us in '82. Because I'm a diehard George Taylor fan, right? But I never liked the fact that how people, to me, gave him undue credit. Because I think the time frame that he came through, he didn't have to face some of the teams that are LeBron faced. Like, think about this. Besides Charles Barkley, who, when you look at the other team, was his equal? And it was one player that he said that was his equal. He just didn't go to that next level.
Dumars.
You know who he said? Drexler. He said Drexler can do everything I can do. He just don't have it up here. That's when when Jordan said that. I think he told him that during the Olympics when they were playing the 5-on-5 games.
Well, hold that thought real quick. I want to get Quentin the last thought on your question you asked about the bad athletes not living in the moment. You get the last right there. I'm coming to you around with that one, but I want you to close that without quick. You were looking kind of somber. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts. Bear actually proved my thoughts. Like immediately, as soon as the question was asked, he said, well, LeBron's gonna end his career with 40,000 points. LeBron's gonna end his career possibly number 2 in assists. That's a real possibility. LeBron has made it to 10 finals, 9 of them consecutive. Maybe I'm missing one. But we're worried about what he doesn't do or why it doesn't matter. Same thing, because we talked LeBron to death. Same thing with Damian Lillard, who just put up 71 in 4 quarters. They immediately compared it to something else. He was not number 1. The first thing you see on ESPN next day was not Damian Lillard. I forgot who it was, but I know because I checked it wasn't Damian Lillard. And then it's not. You don't have time to give him credit. He said it was a great game. It's too bad he was in Portland. Or then it was, well, he needs to leave Portland and win a championship. Or what does Portland need to do? He put up 71 and on some insane field goal percentage and 13 threes. People forget he had 13 threes that game too, and he would have 14, but he rushed his last shot trying to break Clay's record because now he's tied with Clay. We don't have time to sit down and smell the coffee because we're too busy worried about what we got to do the rest of the day. Sometimes that's basketball fans, that's sports fans in general. Sit down and enjoy what you see. And don't compare nothing. Just sit down and enjoy it.
Here's the thing. First of all, if you ask most people around me, I'm the biggest LeBron fan. When LeBron took that Cleveland team with Nance and all them to the finals, I ran to everybody that was listening. I proclaimed that he was the GOAT because I always felt like at that time Jordan could not take the same team to the finals. I feel like a lot of things LeBron has done that Jordan cannot or couldn't do. Same way around. I think there's a lot of things Jordan did that LeBron couldn't do. But here's my thing. I don't knock any accomplishments. When Dame hit that 71, when I saw it, I was like, whoa. And when Donovan hit 71, it's like mind blowing. Those are points. That's not easy. And when you played the game on a competitive level, that's not easy. And I love to see when a guy his motor is going. I don't care if it's scoring, rebounding, dropping downs or whatnot. That's like, to me, poetry and emotion. Like, I know, Ron, you play football, so when you see stuff that's just like majestic, like beautiful on the field, you like in a moment. That's how it is for me. Now, when it comes to, I guess, the care of the game and where the game is headed, and once again, it's just me. It's just me. I don't think this generation. I think it stops at. I might give a little to KD, but I know LeBron. Like LeBron care about the game. He could sit down and have a history talk about the game with you, but I bet you John couldn't. I bet you Zion can't. I bet you, those dudes can't. Their knowledge probably stops at Jordan. LeBron was talking about Bill Russell and people before he even touched this earth because he sat down and studied the game. So that's where I'm at. That's how I look at it. I'm like, it is not their responsibility to. They can stop where they want. They can learn as much as they want about the game. I'm just saying that's how I take it. So when certain things go on, I'm just looking at it like, oh well. Like I do believe the style of basketball we're seeing now, it's going to die, and it's going to have to go back to where it was. And what happens when it goes back? Kids won't be prepared.
Right. Last word.
Because this style.
What is go back to where it was?
Position basketball, where there's a true center, power forward. Now you don't have the stretch threes. Then when you gonna go back to the point guard, it's not necessarily scoring, but run the offense. If I'm not mistaken, you're gonna go back to the basic principles of basketball.
Three of the top 5 players in the league are. Oh, I say 2 of the top 5 players in the league are traditional big men.
Joker is not a traditional big man. No. Embiid is close, but Embiid is really not a traditional big man.
He has a set of skills that other people don't possess. And
That's right.
I think Joker does too. I think honestly, one of the
Joker has a underrated post game, and the only reason people don't care about it is because he averages 10 assists.
I think the one thing that's really different about like high pick and roll with big men is really devastating because you pull a rim protector away from the basket, and you afford your men to be on the move, making moves towards the bucket. I'm a Warriors fan. I hated our offense, but when JT3 was the coach, but when they ran it effectively, they had a good point guard and they had good big passing big men. It was hard as hell to stop. The only problem that really kills a lot of these teams with a lot of these sets that they do is that it's so long for them to get into the sets. So if I press the ball, if I stop you at 8 seconds and you got 8 seconds and you got 37 to get that ball off, and you got to get some player movement, that's tough. That's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna make that point guard work to get the ball up the floor every time. That's his legs. By the second or third quarter, it's a grind. So I don't know, man. I do agree that I do respect Joker's game. I do think he's a heck of a big man. I think that unclogs the lane for a lot of those players like a Jamal Murray. Joker can pretty much play with anybody. Embiid can play with anybody.
Embiid play with anybody. I like Joker's game. I don't know if his post game. I like his game. It's a different game.
I mean,
Joker's game is a different.
I'm looking at I'm watching this college from February right now. A lot of his posts. He starts in the post, they double team, and then he makes the smart pass.
My whole thing with Denver, not the love, my whole issue with Denver is they're gonna play well till playoffs time come, and then with the second round, they tend to wither away by around the second round. You don't see no more. So we
they made it to Western Finals 2 years ago.
They're actually they're the top dogs, right. So they got no reason to fold. They make the
what do you say?
They didn't make it to the Super bubble. They made there in a bubble, and the reason they make it last year is because it was Jokic and no one else.
I mean, Murray's back, so we're gonna see what it run. I think they're gonna fold in the last 20 games. I don't think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna go deep in the playoffs. That is my thought with them.
They're gonna be one.
Huh?
But just kind of rebuttal, like, and I know we can go on this all night.
Yeah.
Jokic, he can't play with Elijah One, Pat.
Oh no, his footwork.
His footwork. He can't play with those guys.
His footwork. Yeah, he would get ate up. only, like, if you really look at it, it's only probably maybe 4 or 5 guys, maybe 6, that could even play with that dude.
Why you asking?
I don't think Olajuwon get as much credit as he deserves. You know what I'm saying? I really
He
don't.
deserve it all.
No, his footwork was impeccable.
Oh, I can tell you exactly why, and that circles back to the original question, because there's 2 rings. Every time you say, "Oh, Olajuwon got 2 rings," the first thing someone will say is, "Oh, it's because Jordan wasn't in the league." People do not have time to sit and enjoy accolades while comparing it to something else.
I don't even care that Jordan went in the league when he got those 2 rings, simply because he wasn't even like a 1 or 2 or 3 seed when he won those rings. Dude was like a 6 seed, and he winning. Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. But when you bring it up, people say there are people who will say. Now I agree with you. I'm saying there are people who will say the only reason he did it is because Jordan wasn't there. That's what they will say. They will not just say it. They will not just say enjoy. He's one of the best centers of all time. He has 2 rings to prove.
I think they split. I think they go 1-1. Call it a day.
Yeah, Ron, you got last word for the night, sir.
I just think that, man, I think a lot of people underestimate the Houston Rockets teams. I think, hell, with the way that a partially injured David Robinson and Tim in the fourth, Tony Parker, Bruce Bowen, that team right there, firing on cylinders, probably would have gave the Bulls a go too.
I ain't never thought about that, Ron.
They probably would have gave
them San Antonio teams were very real. Hey, but we're gonna say that one, guys, for the next one. We'll table that one for the next show. Hey guys, huh? Last
I need people to look at Jokic's highlights.
Last word, B, Beth.
Last word. Hey, it's gotta get better. The league gotta get better.
It's gonna get better as we get to the playoffs. Hey guys, another great show for Over the Top Podcast Sports Edition. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook page, Over the Top Podcast, Facebook page. And again, guys, may your next move be a game changer. Good night.
Good night.